What is happening? What is going down? Good afternoon, Brian. You're getting punted. I said this the other day. Host is the top. That's the side the host goes to. Wee man's got the mouse. It means I'm the host. Good afternoon and welcome to the Rangers Rabble podcast. It's JD here. I am joined by Brian and Mark. Man, look at the state I used to. I brushed your hair, Brian. Look at the big one below us.
You mean brush? Handsome.
Well, handsome. Look at me.
Yeah, Brian, I think the big man really holds himself a high esteem, didn't he?
Somebody's got it.
Anyway, we are on private chat. Oh, I'm in a private chat. Excuse me, gallant pioneer and the teddy bear. Good afternoon. Thanks for your comments. We are on, and I've been working there right up to 10 past. So I'm on my lunch now. Just get that in there in case my employer sees me. I'm on my lunch. But have we just made a signing? Brian, I'm going to come to you. Tell me a little bit about it. How are we feeling? We were all nervous about the signings, and it's starting to, the ball's rolling now, but Rabbi Matondo's over the line.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
He's well, by all accounts, he's absolutely rapid. He's quicker over 20 metres than Usain Bolt is, apparently.
Don't start me.
How much you take out of that, I don't know, but he's apparently very rapid. From what I've seen on the internet, he's predominantly a right winger, position that we've wanted, although Mark will suggest that he played predominantly left wing last year. But yeah, this guy is seriously rapid, and yeah, it's just I think, as we said before, though, transfers just don't happen overnight. You've got to work at them, and things like, look at the Cholak one. We were getting told that unless they signed somebody before they released him, so transfers take time, and obviously they've been working behind the scenes, so it's just taking time, probably longer than we liked, because we all like to have things now rather than tomorrow. So no, it's another one in the door, and it's a position that we've been looking for.
I mean, there's a lot of chatter. Well, I mean, we'll come to this in a second. There's a lot of chat about this not us being done for the day. There may be more incoming, so fingers crossed. But Mark, Rangers have put. I might get done with a faker here, but Rangers have put a picture of the Rangers top with a mad lightning bolt on it on Twitter. That's what Brian said. He used the word rapid there a couple of times. Probably not something that we would call you or I, or even Brian as rapid, but. No. Seem to get a bit of a decent player here. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, what I've seen him, he's really, really quick. So I don't know if he's Usain Bolt quick. I don't know if it's Jamie's round quick. You know what I mean? When you go to the toilet when it's your round, then that's a speed. That is fast. Where did Jamie go? But he's maybe not that fast, but he's quick. He's a very, very quick. Just what Brian was saying there. I looked at it a wee bit. He's predominantly played left wing. Last year, he was out on loan, and he come through the Man City ranks as well. So, but I think it was really, really well thought of at Man City, and I think they sold him for a right few quid to Schalke. So, as I said, he's definitely. He's definitely a fast player, and I think he looks like something that we need. I think he can play right wing. A wee bit tongue-in-cheek by saying that he's predominantly left wing. I think he's one of these players that can play anywhere across the front three. So, what we need, pacey, got a trick, young, bags and bags of potential. So, and it seems like we've got him at a decent price as well. So, I think it's a great bit of business. I really do. This is international as well.
Yeah. We'll come to that in a minute. 11 million. I mean, Man City are famed for it now. Selling under 23 boys. And it basically funds that academy and more. But you get a boy who Man City wanted to keep. He wanted to go and play football. So fair play. It perhaps hasn't worked out in Germany for him, Brian. It's a tough league. We know it's a tough league. Yeah. But he's had a really good season last year. It could be perfect timing for Rangers just now. He's maybe matured perfectly in the Belgian league, which is decent. Could be perfect timing for us, and it's good to see us get somebody who's well sought after with 1 year left. 3 million. You happy with the value and what we're getting?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously as you say, he's 21, so and he's had a good season in Belgium. But as you say, Germany's a tough gig. You either sink or swim out there. There's no grey areas out there. You either are a really good success or you just don't make it. It's as simple as that. It's a really tough league. But I mean, just to go into some of the numbers that he's putting out, I mean, over 20 meters, he's clocking just over 2.5 seconds for 20 meters, and apparently 35 kilometers an hour was the quickest that he ever ran. Now I have no idea what that is in mile per hour, but no, it's a good age. He's not shy in obviously moving abroad. Obviously, going to Germany and then going to Belgium. So he's travelled a wee bit. So hopefully settling won't be a problem because it's obviously closer to home. We always worry about players coming from abroad and settling and stuff. But obviously with him being Welsh, it won't take him too long to settle, hopefully.
He is Welsh. He's a Welsh international. He's a Welsh international.
Just thought I'd throw that in there.
Nah, I'm not listening. We've played these games. I said this all night. We've played these games. He is a Welsh international. It's whether he's been in recent squads or not, or plays many games. It's still a bit of pedigree to his name when you're an internationalist at a very young age. And I think probably Scotland could learn from that, Mark, bringing in young, exciting boys like that a little bit younger and giving them the experience. But he's got a lot of experience for a young guy.
Yeah, 100%. He's the BBC done a thing. It's on YouTube, and they done it was like following him and going to when he was going to play international. That was quite good. It's well worth a wee watch if you can go and find that. That was quite good. You got kind of a wee bit of insight in it. But I think when they done it, he was only 19. But I mean, if he's only 19 and he's playing for his national side, then he's got to have something about him. As I said, like you said, Jamie. Our young boys, I think, are definitely good enough. I think for our national team, we need to get rid of this deadwood and start bringing in these youth. We've never done that. Scotland have never ever done that. So I think get shot of this deadwood and see if you need to take a hammering for 4 or 5 years. You build a squad of young players, then by all means. But that's enough of Scotland. Let's talk about Rangers. Just on Brian's point as well. On Brian's point as well about the Bundesliga being a hard one. I'm sure Ken went over there and never done really well. He never done great over there either. So, as I said, if he's half a player Kent is, we'll be over the moon, won't we?
Right, don't start that. That's a bold statement for me to bite on and start chewing and nibbling. I mean, saying he's half a player Kent. But anyway, let's move on for that. Right, Brian, we're notorious for not letting players settle. I'm bad. We want players to come in. We demand players to have an impact. We demand to win. Yeah. And I don't think anybody would disagree with that.
No.
I think you probably look at somebody like John Lundstrom, who was gone by Christmas. But look at the turnaround in a guy like that. Now, we could talk about Diallo all day long. We need to give Matondo a little bit of time. We do. He can be rapid all he wants. Usain Bolt, we've seen a nick of him try to play football. So we do probably still need to give the boy a little bit of time, but we're still looking for players to come in and hit the ground running as well, do we?
Yeah. I mean, I suppose the obvious difference from Diallo to Matombo is that Matombo is actually our player now. It's not a loan.
He's played games, hasn't he?
He's
played a lot
of
football.
Played games. He's played games in, I don't know how many games he played in Germany, but he played obviously a lot in the Belgium league. But he's obviously one of our players now. He's signed. He's 21. Yes, we just as you said there, Lundstrom took a long time to settle, longer than probably anybody thought would have been possible. So, let's just get right behind this young guy and give him all the support we can because as you say, JD, we are very quick on the trigger to either like some boy or cast them to the wolves as such. So let's just give this guy a little bit of time. He's good, he's a young lad. I'm sure he'll come good.
Are you that being said, Mark? we're paying nearly 3 million for this young guy. He has got pedigree, Man City, Schalke, a good impact last season. When you look at the numbers anyway, you look at some of the clips, we do need to give him time, but we're still expecting him to be first impact in the first team.
Oh yeah, 100%. We're not spending that kind of money for this boy to be a project player. The boy's got to come into the first team. You know yourself, you guys know more, just as much as I do, that sometimes it's a mentality thing rather than a talent thing. So hopefully they've done the homework and this boy's got the right mentality. For what I've seen of him, he seems to have his head screwed on, and I think he's quite a religious boy as well. So he seems to have his head screwed on, and he seems to be more issue is that he's quite a wee guy. He's quite small, and you know what that means, don't you? That they'll just go to try and kick him. Simple as that. But physical side's something that he'll have to deal with and he'll have to live with. If he can live with that and he can live with the mentality and the pressure of playing with Rangers, then he's got all the talent in the world to go on and be a great player for years to come.
I'm just looking at some of his comments he's made, like happy to sign for a club as big as Rangers. He's a handsome young guy as well. Give him his due. That's what we want to see. Impact, Brian. So let me talk about Wales. Like, do you think no, right, okay, the Ramsey deal was a Ross Wilson ego, right? That's what that was. But that's Lawrence in, that's Matondo in. Is there, and I'm not saying scouting in that, but is there's got to be a link somewhere, or is this just total coincidental?
Who knows? But I would say that the network that we are looking at now is massive compared to what it used to be. I think that was one of his sort of remits as director of football, was to improve the scouting network, and obviously that's shown up now in the youth signings. So hopefully it's going to cross over into the first team now as well, which looks as though it is now. As I said to Martin just before we started, though, this window for us is far from over. I think there's going to be a lot more outgoings and ingoings, and we're certainly far from done.
Mark, what is next?
I don't know. There's talk of this. Is it Tillman from Bayern Munich and this other French boy as well? But the talk is that he's a bit of man's, isn't it, in Germany? So I don't know. I mean, it seems to be trying to get attacking midfielders. I think he's looking for an out and out, like an out and out 10 or a central midfielder that scores goals. And I think, to be fair, that's probably, we've all spoke about it for long enough as well, about our midfield last season, especially not scoring enough goals. So I think he's probably along the right lines. The other thing as well, with the recruitment wise, you're talking about bringing in guys from Wales. They know the British game, so maybe that's their way of thinking, that they can maybe make an impact straight away, rather than be from some other foreign league and have to take 6 months, 8 months, a year to bed in. So maybe that's their thoughts as well, that they know the British game, and they can maybe make an impact straight away.
And that's a good point, Brian. I think we were all on when Diallo was signed, hailing it, a £30 million signing and stuff like that. And you know what? These values are crazy these days. Do you think, does it feel a similar signing to the Diallo one, the Matondo one? Are you a wee bit more enthused now that we've seen what happened with Diallo and took him a little bit more time and then didn't? I mean, 1 or 2 games he made an impact in, but you're feeling a bit more enthused about this signing as being someone who's going to come in and do something a bit more quicker than we. I mean, okay, let me phrase it this way: we can't wait to January for Matondo to get up and run like we've done with Lundstrom, because ultimately Lundstrom's brilliant now, one of our best players, but ultimately that slow start could have, I don't know, cost us in the long run.
Absolutely. I suppose I'm more excited in the sense that he's actually contributed a decent amount in a top flight, rather than.
Have you got the stats there, Brian? I know. Listen, yeah, Martin had asked us to do a bit of reading.
I think he scored.
Brian, wait now. Martin had asked us to do a bit of reading up on it. And I know you used to do, but you know what, guys? I'm a free bird. I don't do any details. I said, Martin, I'm not doing that. Let Brian do it. So Brian, take it away.
I think by all accounts, he played 26 games in Belgium, 9 goals, 2 assists. So, for a winger, I suppose that's not bad. It's not a bad return. But as I said to you before, though, at least he's contributed in a top flight rather than I think it was 19 or 20 games that Diallo played, and I can't remember what his stats were, but I mean at least this guy's contributed and scored goals and assisted. So, and I think with the price tag being a lot modester than what Diallo's was, there's a lot less pressure. There's not so much hype. Yeah. So hopefully that'll go for him as well.
Mark, I think that is a big deal. Like, there's not a massive. There is. Like, we're all wanting signings. We're all buzzing. We are. There's not a massive fanfare. Like, we're all, look who we've signed. But nine goals for a boy. What is he? 21, 20? Yeah. 9 goals in the Belgian league. He's moved about now. He was in England now. He was in Germany. Then he went to Belgium. So he's trying to find his way. I mean, hey, we didn't have any midfielder score 9 goals or any winger score 9 goals for us last season. So that bodes well, I think.
Yeah, well, what was Ryan Kent, 3 or something? Not last season. So that was our thing last season. We needed goals for midfield. We needed other people to chip in. If Buff wasn't doing it, then we were struggling to see where our goal was going to come from. I think that this boy's scoring goals. He's got 26 first-team appearances under his belt last season. He's obviously had a wee bit of a run. He's done well over there, so he's coming off of last season in a bit of a high.
Yeah.
So hopefully he now signs for the biggest club in the world, and he's going to kick on. Obviously, it's one of these things. Maybe he's going to know, but he's got all the talent in the world. So if there's goals from him, and by all accounts, so Tom Lawrence likes to have a shot from outside the box as well, which we've been screaming for probably 4 seasons. Why are we trying to walk this ball into the back of the net? Somebody had a shot. So, as I said, it all looks good. He scored a few goals last season as well. I think he was about 13 or 14 or something last season. So, it's looking good. As I said, I'm quite happy. It's no fanfare, and we're not bringing in this guy's meant to be a world beater and he's this and he's that. We're going about our business pretty quietly. We're getting players in that I think are enhancing our squad. I think they're definitely first-team players. So, but the pool we seen last season, at the end of last season, we started struggling with the amount of bodies that we didn't have. So, as I said, it looks as if we've got hundreds of players now, but look, last season we needed them and we didn't have them. So, look, I'm quite happy with the way things are going. As I said, it looks like there's goals for midfield.
Brian, it's mad what a difference even like a week makes, or a week to 10 days makes. We're starting to get a little bit twitchy and a bit worried. The Aribo, it's almost like the Aribo transfers freed up a bit of cash or gave us some instant cash to play with. And that's probably the best way. If that's the way it needs to go, it's the way it needs to go. But it's got us off and running now. Where do you sit and where we are right now? So Suter is a done deal, right? When question marks over Suter's fitness, of course. Why would there not be? There has to be. However, any team we've seen him play, I've seen him play a lot last season. He was outstanding. So I'm enthused with that. The Lawrence one, which Mark touches on, Tom Lawrence, solid player now. Again, no fanfare with that one, but again, an internationalist, someone who is highly sought after, likes to score goals, can play probably anywhere behind the striker, even deeper. Now Matondo, a bit of flair. How are you feeling now, 10 days later, after we were getting a bit nervous about it?
I think, well, the difference is that's four internationals we've signed now. These guys are obviously seasoned campaigners. I just like the fact that we're not hailing any of these guys as like the next coming of Christ or whatever. You know what I mean? We're excited by them. Absolutely, that's fine. But we're not getting overhyped by any of them. We're appreciating that they're good players and they'll do a good job for us. But as I say, I like the fact that we're just keeping things on our feet in the ground, and at the end of the day, we've just got to let our players on the pitch do the talking.
Mark, what Brian's saying there, does that come from us not winning the league last year? Because I've listened to a couple of the phone-ins that were just kicked off again. No others, but the other ones. There's a lot of, people are getting carried away with themselves again. And I think you just probably need to look back to last season. We were probably in a position where we were thinking, oh, what a season we've got ahead, we'll win the league. It's so easy in Scotland just to turn it around like that. Yeah. But we'll keep our heads down and there's no big licks as yet.
I think that the problem was that we get that carried away with Ramsey and Diallo that we kind of get egg in our face somehow. It's just one of the ones where we were talking about Ramsey signing as the next the Gaza, just as big as the Gaza signing and stuff like that. And do you know what? It had the potential to be that. So do you know that's fair enough. It did have the potential to be that. It was a world name, and but I think that. We're trying to hold our cards a wee bit close to our chest now. We're no one to get far too carried away in case we get egg in our face again. So, do you know what I mean? It's fair enough. I think that what we're doing now is the right way to do it. I think much the same as yourselves. I think we were all starting to get a wee bit twitchy bum about players not coming in. But if you look at there's an interview with Gio and he talks about they'd been talking to him for a few weeks. That was Kolak deal. They'd been talking to him for a few weeks. So, I mean, that's went back to Rods before the season ended, really. Yeah. They've been talking to him. So, they've just been keeping the powder dry. So, obviously, we just want to see signings. We want to see players coming in. But I think what's right, we're keeping our cards close to our chest at the minute. We're not getting too carried away, although I think we're optimistic that these boys are going to go and do their turn and improve their squad.
I think what you were saying before, JD, though, with the Aribo's sale, it's almost been like the domino effect. Once one goes, they all start to follow. And as you say, were these... I dare say we could have signed these guys without the Aribo money, but... I don't know. Maybe the wages maybe covered it. I don't know, but it's certainly the domino effect came into play there. I would say.
I think, Just on there, my good friend Nicholas Matondo's a great sign. It's good to see. Listen, the boys down in Wales that have seen a lot more of this kid than we ever have. So if they're happy, I'm happy. Matondo's in now. Thanks for everybody for joining us, by the way. Sorry, my ignorance. We're 24 minutes and I've not even said hello or thanks, but thanks for joining us. The comments are pretty fast and flowing. A lot of people saying we do need, what is next? We do need a striker. Well, some people say we need another striker. I can see that falling down the pecking order, Brian. Another striker if we've got Kovac and Morelos. But let me touch on Morelos and Kent. Contract situation we're in here. Is this the summer where either both go, or do we see a sign? Do we see now a signing of a contract more important than another body coming in?
I would suggest, looking at the numbers as in the positions that we've got, I would suggest, I like signings, but I would suggest that the Kent and Morelos re-signings are more important at this stage until, I would say that. Yeah. I find that difficult to say because I love a new signing, but at this, just by looking at the numbers that we've got in each position, I would say that we need them re-signed rather than new signings.
What's your thoughts, Mark, on that?
Two of them are massive. The two of them need to sign. I think that's the most important thing at the moment. The two of them are massive for us. If they do sign, their squad is enhanced massively with the players that we've brought in. If they do go, because obviously the players that we've brought in are an unknown entity, so we don't really know if it's enhanced or if it's not enhanced. But as I said, if these two boys sign, I just got a funny feeling. I think one of them is going to go. At least one of them. I'm hoping not, but I think that if they refuse to sign a new contract, I think that we need to sign. We need to sell them. Sorry, I think that's the bottom line. I think they need to go. We can't let players that we're talking about 20 million worth 20 million and stuff like that. We can't let them go for free. It's just suicide. It's financial suicide. So They need to either sign or they need to get sold. And if they don't sign, the pair of them need to go. So even if you bring in 15 million for the two of them, you use 10 of that and bring in a right good striker if we can get our hands on him. Because I think we need a talisman, and I think that is going to be the biggest miss if Morelos goes.
Anyone that doesn't want to sign must be sold, and I think we might all agree to that, Brian.
Yeah.
Do you think out of the two, two questions. Do you think out of the two, one of those perhaps, or two of them perhaps don't want to sign? And also, I think the Goldson situation has not helped us one bit. Some players go out, you know what, I'm not telling you, we can't afford that to happen again. Even if it meant they were going to sign at the end of the season, I don't think we can afford to go through that again, can we?
No. But do you think, obviously, the club's obviously looked at and thought, right, if we do sign Goldson, Morelos and Kent, you know, what are they going to ask for? What sort of numbers are they? I wouldn't say they've just signed Goldson and then thought, well, oh, sugar, we can't afford Kent and Morelos now. I'm quite sure they would have tried to foresee what they would have wanted, maybe spoke to the agents and see what they wanted. I don't know. Allegedly, they've been speaking a lot from what Gio said in that interview on Rangers TV. So, yeah, it's definitely an area now that I would see as a bigger priority than a new transfer coming in, personally.
I think it's a no-brainer that you go like that to the two of them. Look, if you want to go at the end of the season, by all means, we'll let you go, but sign this 2-year deal, a 3-year deal, and we'll put a clause in the contract that if somebody comes in for you, we'll let you go. So something as that. Even if they give them a wee bit extra money, you're going to get that back in the back end when you sell them. So I think it's a no-brainer to go like that. All right, well, if you're wanting 40 grand a week instead of the 35 grand that's net with the cap, then I would go like that from well, I'll tell you what, we'll give you 40 grand a week, but this is a clause. If you want to go, we'll give you 40 grand a week for another year, and we'll recoup that money back when we sell these. I think that something like that needs to be done.
Yeah, a wee bit more flexibility in there, Brian.
Yeah, a bit of protection for the club as well, though. If if somebody does come in, that we get decent money, instead of ended up with the Aribo scenario,
But if someone signs it'd be great if someone signs I'm not sure. I don't think we're done yet. I think we'll lose perhaps another player. The other thing is Kent and Morelos are the two we either to sign or sell. But I think there's other names out there which could perhaps go as well.
Mm-hmm.
Assets to bring in. I don't want to say Bassey, but we could be speaking about Bassey this time next season.
I think Kamara.
What do we do?
I think Kamara as well. I think Kamara might go this season. I think that positions were very heavy in that position, but I think he's also looking for somebody that can play more of a central midfield goal scoring role rather than an attacking midfielder. Although we seem to be looking at attacking midfielders, but I think that we're looking for somebody that can score goals from deep, if that makes sense. We're looking for somebody that's almost like a goal scoring midfielder rather than an out and out number 10. So I think that this French boy that we're probably going to miss out is similar to that, and I think that this big boy, the big boy from Bayern Munich, so he's another young one, but I mean he's 6'3" or something like that, 6'2", that big boy, and he's actually had a spell playing centre forward as well. So he looks like a player. As I said, I think he played 6 games for Bayern last season as well. So that might be a shout.
I think he came off the bench in a Champions League game against Barcelona. Yep. Anybody who's coming off the bench to play for Bayern in this day and age is good enough for us.
100%. Yep.
Really, really interesting.
I mean, I personally thought that 2 out of the 3 would go stay. One of them would go. I didn't know which one. Aribo's went. So I'm by my sort of thinking, I thought, well, one will go, 2 stay. So maybe that's going to happen. I don't know.
Do we think Morelos will stay? Do you think Morelos? I always thought longer term Morelos would have been someone who would have ended up in Spain or somewhere like that because of the language stuff.
Yeah.
But it's difficult if you've set your life up in a city like Glasgow. I suppose he perhaps maybe would stay, but I really would be surprised. I think he'd be the next one to go. Brian.
Sorry. Well, for me, I think Morelos. There's been that much talk of clubs coming in from and bids and this and that, and he's never went yet. And I think that he's kind of getting to the stage where he's like, I'm sick of all these clubs talking. Nobody's actually doing anything about it. And I think he's just going to go, you know what, I'm happy, I'll just stay here. I'm hoping that's the case, but that's what it seems like. There's no smoke without fire, and usually when there's clubs sniffing about, and that's been, 3 years nearly, that he's been talk of, he's away this season, he's away in January, he's away, and he's not away yet. And nobody really has come in with a proper, right, we want him, give us him. There's 18 million, there's 20 million, there's what you're asking for, or there's close to what you're asking for. So nobody's ever done that. So I think that he might be going, do you know what? If they don't really want me, then I'm as well staying in Glasgow where they love me. So I think that out of probably Kent and him, although Kent, by all accounts, loves it here as well. So I don't know. It's speculation, but I would think there's more of a Morelos staying and maybe Kent going than the both of them going. So probably back to what you were saying there, Jamie. I think he's probably the one that would stay. I think.
Who predicted the Goldson situation though?
Oh, nobody. No,
we were all resigned to him going, weren't we?
Yeah. Thing is as well, but that thing as well, that if you were to sell Goldson, I mean, Goldson had 2 or 3 years in his contract. You're probably talking about maybe 5 million for him, 6 million. Mm-hmm. Whereas we're talking about Kent, we paid 7.5 for him. We're looking for probably
double
15, between 15 and 20 anyway. Morelos the same. You're looking for between 15, upwards 15 million. So it's different kind of valuations we're talking about, and it's different kind of assets. So I think that it's more important that Kent and Morelos sign a new contract, but rather than it was Goldson, although Goldson's a great player as well. But I think you're trying to run a business as well as run a football team. So the figures that they're worth is a lot more than what Goldson are worth.
Yeah, it's weird. We probably sat here last year, and you're talking about 25 million for these players, Kent, Morelos, off the back of a successful season, and that's what's just going to happen. My worry, I think, Brian, as well, is that maybe there isn't anybody in that are going to take them, but as you get to this, if they don't sign, you get to December and you get to January, an EPL club would happily take Kent on a free, and Morelos probably on a free transfer to bolster their squad and say, well, it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot. That's my worry. They can love it here all they want. The dangle of a 5 million signing on fee and 60 grand a week.
Nothing for them. Nothing for them, innit?
I mean, as you say, Jamie, an EPL team or anybody can come in January for them too, and that's got, well, obviously that's a worry, and that's why everybody wants them signed on new deals, or as some are suggesting that, if they're not signing, they've got to be punted. Now, I think punting in Kent and Morelos at this stage would be a big worry, because then we've got to go out and try and find the next ones. But I think the priority the number one priority now for the clubs to get them both signed up. Quite simple. Got to be.
So today is a day that this is my last question before we go, and anybody can answer this in the comments as well. When was the last time we signed a player called
Rabbi?
we Rab.
No, the Rab, have we? I like a Rab, actually. Okay, Rabbi Matondo's over the line. Get onto Twitter and onto the Rangers stuff. You'll see his interview there. We're happy, we're enthused, our transfers are on the go now. So we're ready to go. Who knows, by the way, we might be on later on. I seen wee Cares on the chat raging that he missed it. So listen, if Rangers get anybody else over the line, I know there's another few boys who are sitting waiting to come on. You never know, might get another sign in the day and we'll see what happens. If it's not tomorrow, then whatever, and we'll see what happens. But if not, what day are we on? Tuesday?
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening this week. I don't know if you'll have a phone in tomorrow. Definitely will be a phone in Friday anyway. But I'm expecting us to have another sign done by then, and then we can do another reaction to it. But thank you to everybody in the comms. Yep, Rabbi Matondo signs for the mighty Glasgow Rangers, and we're off and running, folks. So we'll see you soon. Take care. Cheers, lads.
Cheers.